selections from Porgy and Bess put together in this fantasy for violin and orchestra. It's America's greatest opera. Also a Broadway piece, which didn't last very long in its first run, has since been picked up and has been performed by opera companies all over America, all over the world. Here's Joshua Bell, the violinist, in the fantasy for violin and orchestra on Porgy and Bess. John Williams conducts the London Symphony Orchestra. When I was in high school, I had a friend of mine whose father owned a local radio station in a small town outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And we would hang around in the radio station and sit around and watch the guys, talk and play the records and stuff. So I bugged the guy's father, and he gave me a job programming the music for the radio station when I just turned 16. And I was very involved in music, playing in the school band, school orchestra, jazz band, and all of that. So I knew the music, and it was a station that played light classics at the time, Boston Pops and stuff like that. So my job after school was to go down to the radio station and program the music, pick the records for the guys that were on the air, that were the disc jockeys, so to speak. So that's how I got started in broadcasting. I remember in the 4th grade, I had a teacher, a 4th grade teacher, was a very nice woman, Mrs. Doyle, and I will never forget Mrs. Doyle. One day, a fellow comes into the school, into the class, and she said, "Well, people, today I want you to meet Mr. Johns." Mr. Johns is the music teacher. This tall guy, with a little mustache, and, with the leather patches on the elbows and stuff. And he said, "Well, people, who would like to play either the violin or the clarinet?" Those are the only 2 instruments he named. I'm guessing the only 2 they had. Who would like to study the violin or the clarinet? I said, "Oh, I'd like to study the clarinet." Don't ask me why I raised my hand, but I did. Was playing, sitting on the stage of, I'm trying to remember the name of the hall in New York now. It might have been Kaufman Hall, a little concert hall up near Lincoln Center. I was playing a piece of mine for saxophone, cello, clarinet, and piano. I was playing saxophone. And I hadn't performed in a long time. And a lot of great composers were in the audience, great performers. And I'm sitting there playing, and I'm nervous, very nervous, because it's my own music. And I'm playing the saxophone, and I look down on the floor, and there's a little bug crawling across the floor right by my foot. And I'm saying to myself, while I'm playing the saxophone, do I step on it? What am I going to do with that bug? All the way through the piece, I'm worrying about the bug, but I forgot about being nervous. Speaking in a microphone in a studio with a light that goes on and the meters wiggle, and there's nobody there. It's a piece of cake. Sure, we know that there are thousands, maybe more, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people listening, in the case of Sirius XM radio, all over the country. But I speak to just one person at a time into that microphone. And I only, in my mind's eye, I imagine speaking to one person, even though there may be many, many, many people listening. Doesn't matter what I look like, doesn't matter what I'm wearing, matters what I'm saying, that's all. But in front of an audience, it's a whole other thing. And I get very nervous speaking in front of a group, which is why I joined Toastmasters International. And even in the short time I've been a member, since I would say maybe 6 or 7 months now, it's been very helpful to me, because I have done some public speaking since then. And I was emboldened enough, if you will, to seek out those opportunities as a result of going to Toastmasters. Do I get nervous? Sure, I get nervous. The first thing I would say would be join Toastmasters. That's the first thing. The last thing I would say would be to stay with Toastmasters.